USC is down one running back for 2025. They got the number one for 2026.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, you can pick a platform, you can download this podcast. This one's always free, and I always appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by TurboTax. Ready for stress-free taxes? The most money back, guaranteed? Head on over to turbotax.com today and get matched with your expert. It was inevitable, right? USC's backfield was deep, too deep. You had 6 guys back there, 6 talented running backs. There's one less guy back there today. We've been kind of talking about it. We hinted about it. Amarian Peterson, he's in the transfer portal. It's official. We do wish him good luck wherever he ends up. He put out a message after much prayer and reflection. I've decided to enter the transfer portal with 3 years of eligibility. I'm prepared for the next step in my journey and excited to reach my full potential. Thank you to my teammates, especially the linemen and quarterbacks in the trenches, and to the fans for all the love and support. I will forever be grateful and consider myself a Trojan for life. So, Amon, he didn't play that much. He was used like sparingly, I guess is the best way to put it. In his 2 years at USC, 18 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. He had a couple passes. He caught a couple passes as well. That was it. He was not able to break through, whether that was because the transfers, that USC keeps bringing in every year, or wherever it was, he was too low on the depth chart. And I think the writing was on the wall for him this year. So when one door closes, another opens. And I have been telling you guys for a few weeks now that Oaks Christian, Deshonne Redeaux, running back, number 1 in the state, he was going to be a Trojan. The state's number 1 running back in the class of 2026 gave not only himself and his family, but also to the USC fans a huge birthday present. This past Saturday, Deshonne Redeaux celebrated his birthday with a commitment to USC. And it was a pretty cool commitment video. If you haven't seen it yet, hit up social media, go check it out. I guess he's really tight. He knew Juju Watkins, USC's best women's basketball player. They kind of grew up together. Anyways, at the very end of the video, he's putting on his USC Letterman's jacket. She's dumping a tub of Gatorade on him. So really nice way to kind of make your commitment known that you are part of the Trojan family. He put out a little message. This is a school that I really liked for a long time. Picking the Trojans, I'm just glad it's out there for the world. You guys are getting an all-around back, a back that's going to come in and play every play, grind hard, and be that all-around back that you guys need. He doesn't lack for confidence. Maybe some of the everydayers who listen or watch Locked on USC, they can pick up on some of Deshonne's confidence. There were some of you guys out there. There were some nervous Nellies. Redeaux took a trip to Michigan, and UCLA is always lurking in the shadows. One thing USC fans should maybe temper their enthusiasm when it comes to, getting a running back, and if UCLA's in the picture, UCLA's head coach, pretty good running back at one point, and UCLA does run the ball. So, never count them out. But this time, USC decided, you know what, we're going to take Deshonne Redeaux. So that's, all of a sudden you got Deshonne taking a trip to Ann Arbor. UCLA is kind of lurking in the background. And then before his commitment on Saturday, in the middle of the week, he had tweeted something out and said, going to shock the world. So that kind of had everybody on pins and needles a little bit going, well, if everyone thinks he's going to USC, why is he going to shock the world? on, this past Saturday when he made his commitment. Obviously, he was just kind of building up the hype. So the shock and awe was California's best running back staying home, joining the other top players from the Golden State. That's what was shocking the world, is all of a sudden USC is getting whoever they want from the state of California. And when I say whoever they want, I'm talking about the state's best. Back in February, he cut his list down to 6 schools. This is who USC beat out: Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, UCLA, Washington. A pretty select group of schools. And each one of those schools knows how to run the ball. So USC is saying, so do we. They call it tailback U for a reason. Redeaux, 5'9", 180 pounds. He's considered the nation's 143rd overall best prospect, the 13th best running back in the country, according to On3. Most importantly, as far as anybody needs to be concerned, he's the #1 running back in the state of California, and he's staying home. He's going to protect his turf. As a junior at Oaks Christian, he ran the ball 180 times, 1,263 yards, 17 touchdowns. Caught 14 passes for 131 yards, and he also had a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Let me put those numbers into context, because those are really good numbers. He did that despite missing a few games early in the season with an injury. So far, before he's played his senior year in high school, in 3 years, he's averaging 7.5 yards per carry, 2,202 yards, 25 touchdowns. That ain't bad. So this is another local commitment for the Trojans. Redeaux, when he joins this class, he's now the 20th overall commitment. Of those 20, 13 are from the state. That's a good ratio. Going into the weekend, I was kind of talking about it here on Locked On USC. My everydayers, you heard me talk about it. There was some speculation that USC could actually add one more before the weekend. Redeaux was anticipated, but there was a chance that USC was going to close the week with 4 commitments. Didn't happen. Sorry. Didn't mean to get everybody's hopes up. But USC is going to start the week off really well. I'll just leave it there. We're going to talk about that in the next segment, but it wasn't USC's official junior day this past weekend. However, the visitor list on Saturday, both days, actually Friday and Saturday, was crazy. It was long. It was illustrious. Names like David Benjamin, Madden Williams. So you had a safety. You had a wide receiver. The person I was thinking might pull the trigger, some things I'd heard. Maybe Jake Johnson, the defensive lineman from the state of Texas. Thought maybe he would pop. Didn't happen. Still might this week. However, one of Vlad Diakonov's high school football coaches up there at Folsom High School, his name's Scott Robinson, he decided he was going to chum the water a little bit. He put a message out there on X over the weekend. And he was tweeting at USC football. They're about to get a dog from the Dogs. Stay tuned. All right. If that wasn't enough to kind of get everybody excited, my partner in crime over there at WeAreSC.com, the recruiting guru, Scott Schrader, he said he's hearing good things that are going to happen on Monday. If you're watching this episode of Locked On USC today, it's Monday. Good things are supposed to be happening today. Assuming Vlad is the 21st commitment to join USC's class, he would be the 14th from the state. It doesn't hurt that he plays left tackle, protects Ryder Lyons, the quarterback USC is going after. His brother Walker plays tight end for USC today. So, yeah, you got Ryder's friend. You got Ryder's big brother playing tight end. You got Ryder's protector playing left tackle. We'll see what happens with Ryder. I have no idea how many commitments USC will pick up this week, but I think I'm going to set the line at 2. And whether they go over that or not, I don't know. Let's just call it the line is 2. So you got Vlad the Impaler. Who else? I don't know who, but Brandon Lockhart. He was tracking my X feed over the weekend. I was kind of teasing things. Hey, maybe is USC done? He said, look, I think we're done for the weekend, but USC isn't close to being done. Brandon was having a good time with recruiting this weekend. And he might have one of the greatest quotes a recruit has ever had. And I'm gonna go over that with you on this show. This is a message from our sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. Texas was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back. And then they were waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find every deduction possible, and file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. Also, you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now, this is Taxes. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only with the iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Deshonne Redeaux gave USC 20 commitments, right? We know that, and Chad Bowden has said it, I've repeated it. USC plans to take its biggest high school recruiting class in its history. We're talking like 35, maybe more, depending on how many spots are available based on attrition as well as other factors. So Deshonne is joining wide receiver Cohen Brown, who joined last week, Tom Tapui, who joined before Cohen Brown. Then you got guys like Malik Brooks, Chase Dinas, Jamian Winfield, John Fafita, Eason Tafa, Trent Mosley, Simone Katonga, Jonas Williams, Xavier Griffin, R.J. Sermon, Brandon Lockhart, Braden Jones, Madden Reardon, Joshua Holland, Sean Alston, Andrew Williams, and Jamiron Tron Baker. We're assuming Vlad Diakonov is the next to come in, okay? I think everybody would agree based on the breadcrumbs, even one of his high school assistant coaches talking, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Like I said, his high school coach likes it. He's calling him a dog. And if you're not familiar, Folsom, their mascot, they're bulldogs. Connect the dots. He's 6'7". He's 270 pounds. He wears a USC beanie 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He wears it when he's working out in the weight room, lifting weights. He wears it on his USC visits. I really do hope he washes it on occasion. But when you look at him, dude is long. He's lean. And if you're looking for your prototypical offensive tackle frame, the dude has it. He's got those condor arm length. I mean, they just go on forever. Quick feet. It's something I noticed when I was watching this film. Something else, he likes to finish through the whistle. He will put you on the ground. So you better be prepared to play all the way through the whistle as well. So with him, you have 21 commits, 14 from the state. But who's next? I mean, you got guys like offensive lineman Malachi Lee. Another offensive lineman. You got Samuel Utu. I talked about the defensive lineman Jake Johnson. What about cornerback Haven Finney? Linebacker Talanoa Ely. He just moved out to Hawaii recently. his high school, the head football coach at Kahuku was just relieved of his duties, which is interesting considering the timing that Talanoa transferred over there. I'll tell you this much. He didn't go over there for the head coach. He went over there for other reasons. And one of the reasons is still on the staff there, I believe. So if something changes, I'll let you know. But those are just some of the kids from California who could be next to commit. A lot of these guys are still going to take their official visit. So just kind of throwing names out there. But here's some other names. These are guys who were on USC's campus over the weekend, whether it be Friday or Saturday. You had the aforementioned Deshonne Redeaux. He was there Friday. Saturday, he was committing, and then there was a nice little party later that night. Wish I was there. Opportunity didn't present itself. Anyways, you also returning this past Friday, USC quarterback commit Jonas Williams. It was his first time back since his commitment back in February. Trent Mosley, he decided to come hang out with his buddies. I can tell you that his brother Evan from Stanford wasn't there. We'll see what happens. I mentioned Jake Johnson. He was there on Friday. That's why I thought, all right, he's coming in on Friday. He's going to have a couple of days, he and his mom and his brother, to hang out, see what's going on. Maybe before they got on the airplane, it happened. We'll see. He was just at USC a couple of weeks ago. I'll tell you, I like USC's chances. And if you don't like the way I'm, predicting, if you like Steve Wiltfong, Scott Schrader, they both have their predictions in for it. So there you go. Like I said, if mom bought in, Jake is going to pull the ripcord. Just a matter of when. What about defensive edge? Defensive lineman Kevin Ford. He's part of the class of 2026. He's with one of those 7-on-7 teams, California Power. He was there with a bunch of his teammates, and Coach Eric Henderson, he wants him, and he's making a big impression right now. We'll see what happens. He's scheduled to come for his official visit June 6th through the 8th. I don't think he's going to pull the trigger before then. USC had maybe the number one linebacker in the country on campus, Tyler Atkinson. He's from Georgia. USC's already got Xavier Griffin. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, man. It's not out of the question. USC made an impression with Tyler. He had a good time. Running back Sean Alston, he came back. He was in town to hang out. I'm sure he was at the party with his buddy Deshonne. They're going to form a nice duo back there. And then things got better on Saturday. I mentioned Samodi. He was on campus. That was his first visit since he made his verbal commitment February 23rd. The wide receiver USC wants from Mater Dei right now, Caden Dixon-Wyatt. Chad Savage is making sure KDW, shorten it up, knows that he is a priority at USC. Chad is known as one of the better recruiters. He's one of those guys who, even if you arrived to the party late, which USC might have with his recruitment, Chad is a master at developing relationships. So again, if he's on campus, there's interest. And he will be part of that June 6th through 8th official visit weekend as well. Check this out. You had 2026 UCLA wide receiver commit Jonas Smith. He was on campus. Chad Savage is coming after him. He's coming after him. Doesn't matter that his brother coaches UCLA's baseball team. This is business. Oh, and he's also teammates with Trent Mosley at Santa Margarita Catholic. Just saying. I told you about Vlad. He was there. He was hanging out. Somebody else who was there. He's a class of 2027. Now, this one was interesting. Linebacker, Tustin High School. Chris Hawkins, former Trojan. He brought him on campus. First time. His name is Taven Epps. USC might have been slow to the table getting started with this relationship building, The day after he was on USC's campus, he committed to Texas. Now, he has family in Texas. He's class of 2027. If USC wants him, they're going to continue dialogue. They'll make sure that Mr. Epps knows he's a priority. We'll see if Rob Ryan and the rest of the USC coaching staff can let the young man understand that USC is the place to be. He should be staying home. There's plenty of linebackers in Texas that they can go after. But if you're one of the best in California, you should stay home. Now, with that said, I could see USC and UCLA coming down to the battle. Remember, UCLA's head coach, Deshonne Foster, he played at Tustin High School. So we'll see what happens. Long ways to go with that young man. But USC recruiting, I'm almost to the point where you're saying, you know what, let's slow down a little bit. I love all the momentum, all the fun that everybody's having. Making everybody else around the country jealous that USC has the #1 recruiting class. Let's spread the wealth out a little bit. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming down in June and July because, official visits start pretty much May, run through June. We're in April. But would you be mad if USC didn't go a week or two without a commitment? Everyone's probably nodding their head up. Yeah, well, you know what? Good things come to those who wait. That's what I'll say. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But USC's got 20, about to hit number 21 in that class. There's going to be a select few left. You can have, 14, 15 spots available. Who are they going to be? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments section. Who do you think USC's next commits will be? Love to get your feedback. If you're watching on YouTube, hit me up in the comments section. Hit me up on X. Send me a private message, whatever you want to do. I'm here for you. I got your answers. All right, one more segment to go. You're probably like me. Every now and then, you think you got more money than you do. You're looking at your bank account going, let's pull back a little bit, Mark. Stop the spending. Where did the money go? Well, between dining out, using ride shares, entertaining yourself, entertaining others, it's easy to lose track of your money. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's like having your own personal CFO. It's giving you full visibility, and it's giving you control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building some wealth. You're going to love the all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling like 2 or 3 different apps, you can use a Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan some long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. So you're watching this episode of Locked On USC. It's Monday. Hopefully you're making it your first listen every single day this week. Anyways, every Sunday over there at wearesc.com, I write my Sunday takeaway article. This one was called How Things Are Done at USC Matter. It does. The way USC football does things matters. In fact, the how and the why probably matters almost as much as the results. I think USC football is finally back on the right track. You just get that vibe. Things are going really well. The program has the right staff in place. Appears they got their funding in place. So when everything is moving in the same direction, everybody's on the same page, when USC has its act together, good things happen, and they happen inside the Coliseum. If history is about to repeat itself, it's going to be because certain people at USC remembered how to do things the USC way. Living up to USC's storied past, it's tough. I mean, think about that. Just maintaining that level of excellence, that's hard, especially with the constantly evolving demands of the game. It's changed a lot, not just in the last 15 years, not the last 10 years, in the last few years. I mean, football has gone from college football to what's the difference between college football and the NFL? When USC gets it right, USC dominates. When they get it wrong, they're just another program trying to compete, trying to figure out how do we get to that next step. Until recently, USC hadn't been getting it right. Well, they turned the page. They figured it out. They remembered how USC became USC. I mean, for the last decade plus, right? USC has just been they've just been another program. They're trying to work. They're trying to survive in a world that literally is being driven by money. If you don't have the flashy facilities, I know some programs like to change their uniform once a week. USC doesn't need to do all that. They just need to do it their way, the way that's worked in the past. 11. What earned them 11 national championships and 8 Heisman Award winners. By the way, if you didn't know this, Caleb Williams, USC's 8th. Before him, all 7 of USC's Heisman winners raised in Southern California. I think USC forgot how it achieved its status, how it got that blue blood status. They started to lean on their academic prestige. They thought they had their facilities. They had the location. All that can promote itself. And it's really easy to promote itself when the Pacific Ocean, borders you on the west. You got Hollywood and the mountains to the east. You got everything that you can do in California. I mean, there's so many different activities. I mean, USC has some natural resources that nobody can match. And USC has money. Sometimes when things come easy, I think, when you're winning on and off the field, sometimes you take for granted that success that you built, that you earned, that you achieved. I think USC kind of fell into that boat. They were taking things for granted. Oh, we're USC. Everybody knows who we are, what we represent. USC's pride wasn't always, it can't just be all about academics and how much money they have. USC's got like an $8.5 billion endowment. They've got some of the best research facilities in the world. It's one of the top undergraduate colleges in the world. And they also have one of the top athletic departments in the world. So what do they say? Pride cometh before the fall. USC allowed its pride to get in its way. They forgot how they got those 11 national championships, those 8 Heisman Awards, what made them part of that blue blood category. It's not a lot of programs that can say they belong there. USC is one of them. They're the only West Coast one. Somewhere along the line, the people who built and continue to build on USC, they forgot what got you there. USC football achieved its status, its blue blood status, by making California's best part, the Trojan. They made the best part of California part of the Trojan family. And that was handed down from generation to generation. All right, your parents liked watching USC football, and because you like what your parents like, you like watching USC football. I told you earlier in the show that Brandon Lockhart and I would have had one of the greatest quotes ever. This dude is wise beyond his years. That's why I love doing the interview on this show. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. It's a great interview. Brandon Lockhart said after Deshonne Redeaux committed, quote, "A select few that aren't from here will come here and get it. Some won't, and some will leave. But those of us from here understood the assignment from birth. Get down or lay down." End quote. That's the pride. That's the pride of being from California, wanting to represent California and take on everybody else from around the country. That's why right now, 65% of USC's class of 2026, maybe even slightly more, is from the Golden State. All these young men, they grew up together. They either played against each other or with each other. They understand that going to USC means more than anyone else. They get it. This was part of that generation stuff that was handed down. If Lincoln Riley and Chad Bowden's goal is to make USC great again, then the roster's foundation needs to be produced from California's best recruits. The roster needs to be built with as many Brandon Lockharts, as many Deshonne Redeaux as possible. Those guys who are playing for their family, playing for their friends. I mean, playing for pride is a strength that you can't build it in the weight room, right? That's built at home. It's learning how tradition is handed down. USC was getting away from that. Now they're back at it. That's how USC built its tradition, its legacy. That's why it's lasted this long. Look, there is absolutely zero wrong with diversity, right? You want a little bit of diversity. You want to recruit the best players from around the country. Without adding those guys, you don't get a Fred Davis or a Richard Batman Woods or a Leonard Big Cat Williams. You don't get a Brian Cushing from New Jersey. However, those are the finishing touches that you put on USC's house. Once you've got the foundation built, get the walls up, now you put the crown molding on. You put in the Brian Cushings, the Leonard Williams. Those are the finishing touches. Winning is going to be the goal at USC, but how you get there matters. Now that the people that are in charge at USC are doing it the right way, the USC way, it looks like history might be getting ready to repeat itself. All right. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On USC your first listen every day. And you know what you need to do for your second listen? You need to head on over there to Locked On NFL Draft with Damian Parson and Keith Sanchez. They're your favorites. They're going to get you ready for the next level. You can follow your favorite college football players, what's happening with the NFL Draft, yada, yada, yada. They'll get you hooked up with all the rumors, news every day. Find Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. I will be back with another episode tomorrow. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.